Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm going to show you how to make a festive Santa stocking that is perfect for Christmas. It's a fun, beginner-friendly project that is perfect to hang or gift, and by the end you'll have a beautiful handmade stocking. Now, without further ado, let's get started. First off, print out the pattern, then trace it on paper. You can just cut out the printed pattern and bam, you'll have a pattern. I like to trace it onto some craft paper because I just know I'll stuff it up if I cut out the master copy. And then I'll have to print and tape it all over again. So I usually always choose to trace the pattern. The pattern I used didn't have a seam allowance, so I added a 1cm seam allowance around the entire pattern. Use the grading ruler to mark the seam allowance on the straight edges. On the curved edges, use the same ruler and mark small lines around the curve. Once you have enough markings, fill in the gaps by drawing around the curve. Cut out the pattern piece so you can now use it to cut out the fabric pieces to make the socks. To make these Santa tags, start off with your wooden label piece. Cut a long loop of twine. Thread the twine through the wooden label and tie into a bow before cutting the end. I threaded some beads on this as well. However, this is only for decoration and you don't necessarily have to do this. As an option, you can tie pretty details on here too. For my one, I tied in some extra beads. If you are making multiple like I am, do the same for the other Santa sock labels too. You can change it up by making each beading different on each one, or you can choose to have it the same. I chose to do something different for each one. And here is what one of the finished labels look like. Sew the sock with white fluffy sides together. I helped my sewing machine by gently pulling the fabric through. As an alternative, you can use a sewing aid tool to help feed thick fabrics through your sewing machine. Another alternative to feeding thick, slippery fabrics through your sewing machine is to use tissue paper or baking paper. To make the cuff, I measured the length of the opening of the Santa sock, added a little extra for give around the fluffiness of the sock, and then chose a width I was happy with. In the end, the cuff piece was about 46 centimeters by 10 centimeters, with the seam allowance included. Sew the cuff with fluffy layer to fluffy layer so it can be sewn right sides together. For the loop handle, cut out a 22 centimeter by 2.5 centimeter strip piece of fabric and sew the edges together like this. Flip the socks right sides out and pin a long thin strip of fabric on the outside of the stocking like this. This piece of fabric will be the handle to hang your Santa stocking. If you are making multiple socks like I am, measure the length of the handles to check that they are all pinned down at even lengths. Place the cuff around the top of the Santa sock and sandwich the handle between the cuff and the sock layer. Match the seam of the cuff to the seam of the sock. Also pin along the edge of the cuff to hold it on the sock. I found the quarter marks by folding at the sock seam and pinned in the corner. Then I matched the seam to the pin we just placed in and pin the fold of the sock like this. Your Santa sock is now evenly pinned along the opening. Hand sew the sock opening to the cuff to secure it like this. And here it is, our finished Santa stocking. You can fill it with anything that either yourself or your loved ones will enjoy. Sewing supplies, fabric, or even something special. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you would put in your stocking. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.